That's it, okay. Good morning and welcome to the September 15th, I'm thinking months in advance already, the Alabama Chapter ASSP meeting. I'd like to introduce Michael Warren from Amrex Corporation, who's going to do a presentation today on fire safety, including fire extinguishers. Thank you.
My name is Mike Warren. I work with Amrex Corporation. I do business development for them. I've been in the protection industry since 2010, but with Amrex coming up on 1 year. Back on us, we've been in business since 1971, starting with fire extinguishers. We branched out. We do kitchen suppression systems, industrial dry chem, mostly fire extinguishers, but we touch on quite a few products. For this session, I think I'm going to try to concentrate mostly on classifications of fires, but touch on all the different types of extinguishers that exist as well. I don't know each of your individual backgrounds. I don't know what kind you guys would most likely encounter. So if you do have any questions or anything, please, it's a small group. Feel free to.
We have compressed air foam systems.
Foam?
Yeah, for the foam as well.
No, we no longer do foam after I got all us discoveries. We just kind of walked away from that completely. We don't want to be associated with the stuff that's not helping people. Classification of fires, I'm assuming most of you are aware, but not everybody knows them all. Class A is your anything that leaves an ash, wood, paper, that kind of stuff. Class B's are your flammable liquids, gasoline, alcohol, oil, things of that nature, hydrocarbons. Class C is anything involving electrical current, as long as it's active. As soon as you kill the current, it becomes Class A. It's probably Class A. Class D is your combustible metals, lithium metal, not lithium ion, calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, that kind of stuff. Class G is the kitchen media, deep fat fryers, it basically has a grease-laden vapor. And the symbols up there, I think they're pretty self-explanatory. Fire test general requirements. I'm going to start with Class A. I don't need to read the whole card to you. You'll get a printout of it and you can review it as you please. But if they build a wood structure like that, underneath is a tank of heptane. That's how they ignite the fire. They let the heptane burn until the entire structure is completely engulfed. The size of the structure will determine the A rating. Your A is essentially a quantity of 1.25 gallons of water would do. So 1A dry chemical is just as effective as 1.25 gallons of water. Just pictures of the.
Excuse me.
How large the fire does get.
Go back to that. So when we talk about A fire extinguishers and what they find, this gives the level of how big of a fire.
Yeah, your distributor or whoever is purchasing your fire extinguisher should have a specification for the rating that it needs to be. It's just give you what it can do.
As much as we've been in this, I didn't know about that.
I was gonna say that 4A, like 10 BC, you'll see that on the fire extinguisher.
Mhm. Okay, so that's what those numbers mean.
Yeah.
Okay.
ABC is your monoammonium phosphate. That's probably the most common extinguisher you're going to see. Some pictures just to show you how large the fire gets before they even try to fight it. The last picture shows how close the operator is getting. You can go front, you have to let that attack that first, and you can go side to side. You cannot go 360 around it. You have to be able to extinguish the fire completely without walking around it. So it does, have like the eddy effect with the water current. Here's another Class A test. That's Excelsior on the floor. That's basically the wood shavings. They use those to ignite. And again, it's different sizes. Pictures again, they use heptane to ignite the Excelsior to basically the same thing, just a different kind of structure. I'll get into Class B's. You guys are doing mostly safety. I don't know how many Class B hazards you're going to encounter, but just in basic life, you do every day because you go to put fuel in your car, there's a class B hazard right there. A little bit different, the B rating has nothing to do with water like the A, the B is the square foot of the fire. Not three-dimensional, just the square footage. There's just a little pictorial of the different ratings, different sizes. 1B is 2.5 square feet, 2B, 5B. I don't need to teach you guys math. It's pretty easy. Again, just a picture to show you that the last picture probably shows best. It is a pan. So the hazard itself is three-dimensional, but the fire is only the surface of the heptane. And class B is a little bit different for getting your rating. You can't go around at all. Your line can't go like, this is your pan, you can't come over here. It's straight on. So you have to be able to put the fire out at the lip of that pan without going around it. The agent has to curl around. In class C, class C is pretty basic. Like I said, once you cut the power, it becomes a class A. Basically, your agent cannot conduct any electricity. I think it's 100,000 volts AC is what they use. So the test is pretty substantial. And we'll get into the types a little bit. This is probably your most basic for construction sites, any kind of hot work, anything you're doing. This is just a pressurized can filled with water. If you're going to refill it, you refill it with preferred deionized water, but you can use any water you want. We say to use nitrogen in the manual. I'm not going to tell anybody if you use shop air, but you can. Up to 100 psi, there's a little Schrader valve. You can't see in the picture, it's behind the valve or the gauge on there. The water mist, this is actually a C rated, which doesn't make a lot of sense to people using water for a class C electrical hazard, but it's such a fine mist that it is non-conductive. This one, you absolutely need to use deionized water, because if you use regular water, there could be heavy metals in it, and then you no longer get your C rating. Again, you can refill it yourself. We sell deionized water. So you guys know how to source deionized water and fill it. This one I'm going to say nitrogen only, because shop air could have water in it to 125, up to 125 psi, between 100 and 125. Sorry. What chemical? This is going to be for your kitchen hazards. Much restaurant stuff.
I have a question on the previous,
Yes, sir.
the previous two, you don't have to, but how much water you put in? Do you need enough headspace for the compressed nitrogen as well? So
There's
if
different
you refill
different
this,
sizes, and they're marked on there.
I marked on it, okay.
The two in the picture are 2 gallon and the 2.5.
Okay.
Glasses, I don't know if you guys do much with them. If you know, really, sturgeon. They are stainless steel because most stuff in your kitchen is stainless steel. The carbon dioxide, this used to be the go-to for anytime you needed clean, you didn't want the powder. However, you know, carbon dioxide is poisonous, so it's not that clean. They are stainless steel shells. We do offer a non-metallic or non-magnetic, sorry, for like an MRI room. Again, it's not your best option. Clean agents, I don't know if you guys are familiar with clean agents much. That's like your ones, that stuff you'd see in computer server rooms. Most of our clean agents are going into like aerospace industry, helicopters, that kind of stuff. But you could see one in a server room. We do Halon, Halotron BRX, and still for the time being, Novec. I don't know how long Novec is gonna be available. Class D, I believe we are the only manufacturer of a Class D portable. Most manufacturers want you to scoop it with a shovel onto the fire. Biggest reason for this is it's really hard to get Class D agent to expel from the extinguisher. We have one that has copper in it for lithium metal fires, not lithium ion. And we have to put 41.5 pounds of agent in it to get the 30-pound discharge. Dry chemical, like I said earlier, this is going to be your most common that you'll see just about everywhere. The ABC dry chemical is a monoammonium phosphate. Purple K is just a BC. That's gonna be your best option for the class B hazards. They both carry the C rating just because they're non-conductive. We do have a high performance line that we offer. I'm sure our competitors do too. Not trying to sell you extinguishers, but I don't feel comfortable talking about other people's products. We call it the Z series because it's zinc coated. It's prohibitive. More of your heavy duty, you might want it on your outdoor equipment, that kind of stuff. I don't need to read the whole card to you. You guys will get a printout. But the temperature range is pretty significant. I know it doesn't get down to -65 in Alabama too often, but it can get pretty cold in some mines. A little comparison with the high performance versus cartridge operated. I don't know if anybody's used cartridge operated extinguishers. That was the standard for heavy duty. It has a cartridge on the outside for basically compressed air. Ours are all self-contained, so maintenance is easier, it's safer. You don't have to worry about the agent caking inside. Anytime you open the lid on cartridge job, you run the risk of water getting in. It's, I wish I could show you a cartridge drop and compare, but I don't want to put competitor stuff out there because I don't feel comfortable saying anything about them. Wheeled units are basically just real big fire extinguishers. They work same way, heavier duty valve, everything like that. We do still have a Novec wheeled unit. I believe we are the only company that makes one. Again, probably gonna go away just because Novec, I don't think 3M is gonna manufacture Novec anymore. Monthly maintenance, this might be more what you guys would be concerning yourselves with. You make sure that the extinguisher is where it's supposed to be. If it's listed to be on this wall, make sure it's not hanging out over there. People need to find them. And make sure it's not obstructed. I've seen, especially like arcades and bars, they'll put a video game machine up. Can't get to the extinguisher. That's the last thing they're thinking of. Pressure gauge. Its exact location isn't that important as long as it's in the green. It can be all the way to one side or the other. To see it a little overcharged, but temperature is gonna have a little factor on that. As long as you're in the green, you're good. Coolness is determined by weight. I know you're not gonna run around and weigh them, but the difference between an empty unit and a unit with 10 pounds of agent, you should be able to tell. Operating instructions are on the label. That needs to be legible. If it's not, that extinguisher is no longer serviceable. Safety seals, tampers. You can see those as well. Check for any kind of physical damage. And this is just a display, but it does have a hole in the bottom. You're just gonna check your nozzle, just eyeball it, make sure there's nothing in it. If there's agent in it, that means it could have been discharged, but still has pressure. And if it has been discharged, it's no longer serviceable, well, usable, it needs to be serviced. These are OSHA requirements. I'm not an OSHA representative by any stretch of the imagination, but if you do have questions, I can help make sure you get answers. In a nutshell, I can answer questions about the extinguishers themselves, other fire safety stuff. Wasn't real sure what Justin wanted me to present on, so I concentrate on one topic, but I can do any fire safety questions you may have.
When you inspect those, you know, they say you got to flip it upside down, but
Yeah.
is that true or no?
Basically just up, over and back, just to make sure it's still liquefied in there. So once it's caked, it may not discharge.
So the reading can show good, but it may not discharge.
Yeah, it can be pressurized, but if the agent is caked in there, all your pressure is right here, so the gauge is still happy. But all you're gonna get out is the compressed air.
Did you do that every month?
Once a month. Distributors will do the 6-month annual, 6 year, 12 years.
Well, I often get questions about the halon, you know, and I say, do you guys have your own, you have, I don't know, some halon left that you're giving out, or?
Yeah, you can still buy halon, you just, it hasn't been produced since 93, I think, is when I told protocol. But you can still reclaim it and purchase it, the government uses a lot of it. The Halotron, which is also being discontinued, is the best halon replacement, and that company is also putting out their Halotron BRX, which is the new latest and greatest. Still works the same way halon does, it uses the bromine to break off the oxygen from the fire. It not only chokes it out, it also breaks the chemical reaction. It's not a triangle anymore, it's a tetrahedron now, because of lithium ion.
And the Novatron, is that a kind of halon? What is that?
No, it isn't halon replacement. It's, you know, it's FK5112 is the chemical. It's still gonna be produced. Chinese company is gonna produce the FK5112, but 3M is no longer gonna produce the halon or the Novec. It's a liquid, but when it comes out, it's pretty much gaseous. It has no environmental impact other than they've discovered that it has PFAS in it, like foam. But until then, there was no greenhouse gas. That's what got halon on the banned list, was the greenhouse gas. And FM200 is another HFC going that direction. It's another halon.
We were talking about lithium batteries. You mentioned those. I got the electric car. So did you want to?
Yeah, we have for our vehicle systems, we do have a lithium ion gas. It basically detects the off gases that your batteries are throwing out before they go into thermal runaway, before they basically turn into a bomb. And I believe that gas detection is the quickest way to prevent that from happening. Some people use temperature, but once it's already hot, it's kind of too late. So if you can get the gases early and get the battery shut down, they may not go into thermal runaway and you may be okay. Worst case scenario, if they do go into thermal runaway, you still have time to, like if it's on a city bus, you had a few minutes to pull over and get people off the bus. As opposed to the bus going down the road and the battery explodes. And we don't have a lot of examples of that here yet, but over China's using a lot of battery operated buses and they have substantial fires. Fall on the rabbit hole on YouTube real quick.
I read an article a while back about, well, still assuming lithium ion, that whole buildings, you know, they're going to start putting UPSs basically instead of a motors, you have these giant lithium ion piles, which if they were to catch fire, bye-bye buildings.
There was a fire, I'll say it was last summer in Northern Illinois, that was storing lithium ion batteries, and the owner of the building didn't tell anybody he was storing lithium ion batteries. So the fire department rolled up and started putting water on them. That basically created a hydrogen bomb.
There are rules out there for how far they have to be from the building, the size, and all those kind of things.
It's better to make sure the fire department knows you have them. The current recommendation is to drown it, but that, I mean, completely drown it, don't just sprinkle water on it. And that doesn't put the fire out, it burns underwater, it just contains it.
It dissipates, it takes care of the heat somewhat.
A little bit, it keeps it from spreading, because lithium ion is creating its own oxygen, its own heat, its own fuel, and its own chain reaction. Once it's going, it's gonna burn until it decides it's done. It is a product out there that encapsulates it. But it could be a great product, I don't know. From what I've seen videos and stuff, they're doing it like cell phone batteries. How's that gonna work on a huge UPS? I don't know. Maybe it'll be great. Hope it is.
Work in the mining industry, and there's a kind of a misunderstanding with oils and fuels. I've seen where some mines will have purple K fire extinguishers and others just a class B. So,
Yeah, we had just we called it regular. That was me before I was there, don't blame me. Other companies have, I think Ansel calls theirs +50. It's just a BC agent, PK is better option. It is. Sodium bicarbonate is the BC agent. And it's good, it's better than ABC. But the potassium chloride, the purple K is even better. It's just costly. How much is your equipment gonna do?
yeah.
Any other questions? Well, thank you. Sure, appreciation. Yeah, covered it. Mug. Dishwasher safe. Oh. Microwavable safe, unless you want one that isn't. Thank you.
We'll stick around for the meeting if you guys come up with any other questions.
Thank you.
I will take
Go ahead and enjoy yourself, go ahead and get yourself
Sure,
lunch,
got questions, yeah.
and I'll put up my PowerPoint presentation, so go ahead. It's lunch and enjoy.
Yes, we got.
You don't be saying directly to your distributors.
We do.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting a lot of traction, we're getting much picture and big response.
Yeah, we can, you were gonna be a distributor of the project. Yeah, I was gonna have to.
Appreciate that.
Actually, turkey and Swiss or fry and Swiss?
Okay.
That laptop, that old, that's the. There's mine, it's mine. Yeah. How's it going? Good.
There we go. Okay, welcome to the September meeting. Any new guests or members here that we haven't had before?
I've been one time, so I'll
Okay.
reintroduce myself.
Yourself again?
Yeah, I'm Ben Angle, I'm with a company called Therapy South at Work, so, we just looking, we come to some, I went to Auburn, we've got a lady that works for us named Morgan Hoganson, she's done some collaborations down there and with that chapter. So just looking to make some more of the meetings, and we've got a lot of clients, just see what you guys have, see what I can offer our clients, bring back to some of our clients and people we work with. So thanks for having me, thanks for lunch.
Thanks for joining us. We would stand and join me in the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll do it. Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for life and health and strength and watching over us, giving us wisdom in all that we do so that we'll have the best benefit for your people and people that we work for. We thank you for blessing this food that we're receiving, for the nourishment of our bodies. In Christ Jesus our Lord's name, amen.
This announcement on training, we're back in session, schools, colleges and so forth, and there's a lot of training going on both at University of Alabama, environmental. Check their website for all the different training that's coming out. Utah Center for University of Alabama in Birmingham, they have a bunch of courses coming up on noise and respiratory protection. We also have a handout back there and current list of courses that OTI and environmental has at University of Alabama. Upcoming conferences. I want to bring up the governor's conference that just ended last month. Time to go. Just be advised that they limit it to 400 attendees, so they cut it off when they reach 400 attendees. We had quite a few people call us in August, early August, and late July say, "I can't get in." They reached their 400 attendance and they shut it off. You can't get them in. So they plan on going to next year's Governor's Safety and Health Conference at the end of August. Be advised that when they reach 400, they're going to cut it off, and if it gets even earlier, they may cut it off, and this is why. Who knows? You be aware of that. If you limit to 400 total, there's an ASSP Region 4 ROC meeting next week in Atlanta. It's required all chapters send a representative over to Atlanta, so we'll send somebody there next week. The spring ROC meeting and the Region 4 PDC is going to be next May 1st and 2nd. Unfortunately, it's in a kind of a terrible location. It's at Lake Buena Vista, which is right next to Disney Springs, Disney's resort area. So that's where it'll be next year. It's at the Wyndham Hotel, which is across the street from the Holiday Inn I stay at when I go to Disney. So it's a nice area there. About a 3 block, 5 block of Disney Springs.
Matthew, and you can talk through the speakers.
Hey, can you hear me?
Matthew.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Matthew? Yes, we can hear you, Matthew.
Hey, okay. Hey, no, I missed the introductions. It's just Matthew Harris with Southern Company. And it's just been several years since I attended one of those in person. And so I was with my son who's going to JSU in the safety program. and I was talking about them starting up their new student chapter, and I kind of reminded me I might need to get a little bit more engaged with the chapter I belong to. So hopefully I'll be able to attend in person next month and be more of a participating member going forward.
Thank you, Matthew. Hopefully you can make some meetings in person here. We do provide free lunch, just so you know.
Thanks.
It died on me, Vincent.
Oh, because I chose something else.
We're asking for volunteers for committees. We still need help to run all these committees. We do have a volunteer who took over the Government Affairs Committee, so he's going to help us keeping us up to date on OSHA information and so forth. One of the committees we'd like to see happening is a spy committee to nominate somebody who shows involvement in safety professional, as well as involvement with the local section or chapter of the SSP. We haven't had a spy award in a few years. I'd like to bring it back and have the winner show up next year at our recognition banquet we're going to have next April. We're also looking for a committee for our banquet next year to put on a pretty good show at a banquet. We provide certificates to our long-term members who've had 25, 30 years, 10 years, 15 years. We recognize students. We may try to do a scholarship. We're still working on that. So we're bringing back that next year in April as well. You need to get new batteries for that. That's all I have. Our next meeting is going to be October 20th. Do we have any questions?
We do have one item. Who probably for a contract or a consultant. There we have a company a lawyer who contacted us to help with a civil law case.
Yes.
So we have any experts.
Yeah, he's looking for an expert in basically slip, trips and falls. So you know of anybody who could provide that, that's great. We don't know of anybody at this moment, but if you can provide a name to us, we can get on to that person. Another one final announcement, I'm going to say October 6th, next month, this section over in they'll have their first meeting 11:30 on that Friday at the Gateway, Tuscaloosa Gateway. Joe Petit, who is the area director for Birmingham, will be doing the presentation. So hopefully he can make it in person over there on Friday, October 6th at 11:30, providing lunch. And Joe Petit, the area director, will be doing the presentation, probably on OSHA Day. Thank you. Enjoy and have a safe trip home. Enjoy the lunch.
Tom, I'll go ahead and throw one more thing in. I always remind folks of this. We still do have, we've had 2 hardwood green training programs running through USA State. The infectious disease control is just about over. The heat stress training is continuing on though. That can be either sort of awareness level, an hour or so, but we also do train the trainer on that. So it's absolutely free of charge. We've got really fine trainers who will either come to your site. We can go virtually. We also have the ability, mostly virtually, to do it in the Spanish language. So that sounds like something that would be of value to your group. Please let me know. We got some brochures up here.
Thank you. Yeah. Enjoy. Have a great one. Thanks.